Hi, I'm Kylie McCoy, and I am a regional procurement manager at Blue Compass RV.
Hi, I'm Chris Fuller, Vice President of Used Operations for Blue Compass RV. Today, I'm very excited that we're going to pull back the curtains for you to be able to see our consignment program. We're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to make the most money for your RV today that you're trying to sell. So, Kylie, what is a consignment?
So, a consignment is essentially just letting the dealership do the sale of your unit for you. So, we have a super easy, hassle free process where you would just bring in your RV, we would agree upon a number to sell it for, and then the dealership would use all of their resources to get that unit sold for you. You don't have to do any of the selling yourself. We have dedicated sales professionals that will be out there selling your unit to new customers, and all you have to do is wait for your money.
So, that's all you have to do. You just wait for your money to come in, and you guys take care of the whole sales process.
Yes.
So, what are the benefits to consigning with Blue Compass?
So we have the best exposure out there. We have 100 plus stores in over 33 states at this point. So you will have all of the eyes on your unit. We have it marketed on our Blue Compass website and then, of course, walk-in traffic. So you'll have so many people looking at your unit from all over the country that are looking for your specific year, make, model, and condition. So it really makes it easy for you. You don't have to do any of the financing, the paperwork, anything like that. We will take care of all of that for you on the back end, and you just have to wait for your check to come into the mail.
So do I have to pay for having the unit put on all these websites that you're talking about, or like put into whatever promotions you're talking about to sell the unit to that customer who's coming in? Who takes care of that fee?
No, you do not have to pay to have any of it marketed. We will take care of all the marketing for you because we're making an investment in selling your unit. The only way that we make money off of this program is to get your unit sold. So once it comes in, we really do take ownership of it. We'll use all of our resources that we would use for anything we take in on trade to market it appropriately, list it appropriately, and sell it to the right person so that both of us can make money.
Okay. So you take ownership. By you saying you take ownership, does that mean my unit will be put out in the lot where all of your units are? Does it go to a separate place where it's hard to find, or where, we only take that customer to that unit if it's something that, it's an afterthought, or is it something that's front and center?
No, it actually usually is very front and center. They love to highlight the consignment units because they're selling as fast as we get them right now. We constantly need used inventory. So, Chris, we do get a lot of questions daily on the consignment program and how it works. One of the top five being, do we have any fees or percentages in our program? Do you think you could touch on that a little?
Yeah, it's a great question. So whenever we do a consignment contract with the customer, there's a reserve price that's tied to that contract. So we work with the customer to come up with the best market value that's tied to that unit. We're very transparent with that number. We want to make sure the customer understands and feels confident and comfortable with the number that's being given to them. And then we work off of that number. So if there's fees that are tied to marketing, or if there's fees tied to sales commissions, or fees that's tied to deliver that unit, we take care of that from our side. So once it sells and you have that reserve price, that final reserve price, that's what you get. So if there's a payoff that's tied to it, and say you owe 10,000 and we get you 20,000 on the reserve price, you take home $10,000. There's no additional fees on top of that we're going to take off. It's what's on the contract, and that's what we stand behind. And I know some others out there might charge a percentage of that contract. We don't charge a percentage of that contract. So it's a great program that allows the customer to see upfront, here's my expense, and then allows us to go from there to price it appropriately, to work our deal appropriately, because every deal is different, which we do take trades, right? That's another huge bonus point for our program, and for taking your unit and consigning with the dealer as opposed to selling yourself. Because if you're a customer, you don't want another unit when you're selling your unit. And we have the ability to do that because we have the capital in the company to be able to back that. So financially, it's secure on your end to get the money that you are counting on getting from that reserve price.
That's super refreshing.
Customers are asking, well, I have a payout. Who pays off that unit? How does that work? Well, we do that. We do that from
Mhm.
our side. We take care of it in our finance office to where the finance manager is calling and getting a current payoff on your unit at the time of sale. And we take care of that whole transaction with the bank. We take care of the paperwork with the bank as well, because that's another question. Okay, well, how does the titling work? And we have office managers, we have title clerks, we have a whole army of staff who are super professional and that have been in the RV industry for a while that understand the whole process. So it's a team effort to make sure that it is a seamless process for you as a customer.
Yeah. And as a customer as well, your part in that team effort would be just making sure that all of your documents are in order at the time of the consignment, especially if you do have a payoff. So, sending that payoff balance statement from the bank so that the office manager and the finance department has the information they need to be able to pull that payoff efficiently and get it paid off for you. If there is a difference between your payoff and the offer amount, making sure it's paid down before the unit gets in on consignment so there's no delay in paying that off and getting the unit over to its new owner.
Another big question that comes up, Kylie, that I know you hear is who owns the unit while it's on your lot while you're selling it, right? Like I have it listed somewhere else right now for sale. I have insurance on it. I'm still making payments on this unit. I pay insurance on it. Do my payments stop and my insurance, I don't have to have it and like I can continue to sell it over here? Like how does that work? Who actually owns the unit?
So the customer would technically own the unit until it's sold. So, in the regard of you will be making your payments still, and you will keep the insurance on it so that any natural disaster, act of God situation will be taken care of under insurance. But we do take ownership of the unit when speaking of marketing and selling it for you. We will use all of our resources as we would a unit we own as well. And the marketing as well, you don't even need to have your listing up anymore because we have it marketed to 100 plus stores across the nation. So we have you covered there for sure.
Customers ask, well, can my unit only sell on your lot or how's that work? You have 100 plus locations. What does that mean to the customer, for how that unit can sell?
Yeah, absolutely. We have had a huge increase in transfers for consignments recently. And as we said, you can see the unit in 100 plus locations on all of our marketing platforms that we have. So people want what they want and they will travel to get it. They'll transfer something in if they want that specific year, make, and model. So your unit is like gold in this market. So they get transferred all the time. We, of course, will only do it with your permission. We'll call you beforehand and say, hey, we have a deal. It has to be fully signed, papered, money in house before we will actually move the unit, and we will get your approval as well. But they do transfer all the time, and it's actually been a really great help in selling them a lot faster.
That's huge. That's the one Blue Compass way, right? That's a big benefit of doing this program with Blue Compass because there might be only 5 or 6 salespeople at that one store. But when you multiply that across 100 dealerships, all of a sudden you have 600, 700 salespeople that are actually working hard to sell your unit. And that's why this program is so important right now because selfishly, as the vice president of used operations for Blue Compass, I don't have enough inventory. I am short on inventory based on the demand. The supply is not there. And it's one of our most valued assets when we sell a unit is a used unit. So Kylie, as a customer, what are the top things that you can do to bring the most money when you're consigning your unit with Blue Compass?
One thing is definitely to take quality photos of your unit when you're sending it over to your regional procurement manager to make sure we can get you the most money possible.
Yeah, I'd say another one is the cleanliness. Cleanliness is everything to a customer when you think about going to a hotel or even in your own house. you value it more when it's clean. What's another one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think another one would be to just gather all of the appropriate documents, all the documentation associated with the RV, make sure everything is in order so that there's a seamless transition between you and the new customer.
So having keys, remotes, all those things that are imperative to be able to actually use the RV as the next owner.
Yes.
Another one I would say is it's best to repair the things that are visible, right? So if the mattress needs to be replaced because it had a stain from a pet or something like that, then it's best to do that. If the tires are 9 years old, it's best to replace the tires because it's going to bring more money. Last thing I would say is some modifications are great. Some of them customers might not want. So if you did remove something, maybe putting back in from what came from the manufacturer could bring you more money because then it opens up that unit to a broader audience who's looking for an RV today. These are all great points that I think will drive more money to the bottom line for the customer who's looking to consign their unit today.
Definitely.
That's great. And I would say another really big one is security, right? So in a world that we live in today to where you want to protect your identity, you want to protect your money, you want to protect your assets, we have a system that allows for a lot of that to be done. So when you're asking those questions to be able to send over documentations or when you're sending documentations, it's in a secured system that we work with. So if they're texting you information, it goes into a system to where it can't be seen necessarily unless you're inside of our system logged in as a user that works for this company. And that's the same for the dealerships. When they're looking for the information that's tied back to what you got through that process, they go into that system to get it. It's not sent over by email, not texted over to someone. We don't send driver's license like that. We don't send over personal documents that way. We do it through a system that's secured and safe. And then we also put your money in a secure and safe place whenever we're paying your unit off or we're paying you the funds from your reserve price.
And I mean, speaking of value, how do we determine that? Like what are the channels that we go through to get you the number?
That's a great question. So we have different systems internally that we have available to us to be able to see what market value is for a customer's unit. Right? There's some others out there, some competitors, or you might have someone say, "Hey, your unit's worth this." That number could be higher than the number we give. Again, we're transparent with this program. We tell you what your unit's worth based off today's market, and we're going to try to give you the highest number possible. One thing about consigning that we haven't touched on is you can make 10, 15, 20% more than what you would if you were just trying to sell it outright and you're waiting for that buyer or possibly trading with a competitor. We're able to give you more. And the reason we're able to give you more is because you're still the owner of it. But then we're able to negotiate from that point because once we buy a unit or we take in and trade for a unit, we own that unit. There is no, hey, let's see if we can try to take it down for less. Our cost is our cost. With this program, it allows us to go to the highest market value possible to get you the most and still put us in a position to price it appropriately and sell your unit on average. Kylie, right now we sell our units in under 45 days at our consignments on average.
It's incredible.
It is incredible. And that's why we need more used units. So we have systems that allow us to really put a real number, a real market value on your unit. And we use these systems like, you have JD Power out there. Customers seeing it from a standpoint of the retail side. Unfortunately, no one's going to pay retail anymore. But we do use that as a gauge. But sometimes it goes up depending on what time of season that we're in. In fact, in this market right now, March is when JD Powers puts their new book out. The average value actually went up. And a lot of that has to do with seasonality too. That's another piece that we look at for evaluations. And which market would this sell best? Sometimes we'll tell customers, hey, you have a big motorhome that could be, like a motorhome like this could be $150,000, $200,000 motorhome. That store might not work best for you, but guess what? Kylie, you're in the Southeast. You have 4 or 5 stores within 2 hours of each other
Mhm.
that you could say, hey, Mr. or Miss Customer, this unit might not work in my Charleston, South Carolina location, but great news, this unit could work up in my Charlotte, North Carolina location that does really well with big motorhomes. So, just for example, we have the ability to move units around too and still give you that premium offer based on today's market. Plus, we also look at supply. We can look at what we currently have in inventory. I can actually look and see what's across the country at other dealerships or private sell. So I can tell you, hey, yours is priced best in the market. It looks the best, has the most options. I can almost guarantee you this thing's going to sell in under 45 days based what's out there.
Yeah, and I think that transparency is really, really important because it's missing from a lot of other programs. And that's why we wanted to do this. We want to pull the curtain back and we want to be as transparent as possible because that is what our program is about. We will share with you these other listing prices of units like yours that are currently in the market so that we could show you this is what it's selling for. You're not sitting there guessing what is it going to sell for? What percentage are they going to take? What amount of money am I going to end up with? We're transparent and upfront from the beginning about all of those things so that you can feel confident in knowing exactly what you're getting at the end of this.
Our program's predicated on value, right? We give the next buyer things that you don't pay for as a customer. RV Complete.
Mhm.
RV Complete is a $5,000 value that we give every customer who buys an RV from us, whether used or new. They get it for 1 year, and that's roadside assistance. That is customer service for someone who's going to pick up the phone for you if something happens and you break down on the side of the road. And that is passed on to the next buyer, right? And we also take care of all the other things that we talked about earlier, from marketing to delivery fees, all these things at no cost to the person who is consigning with us in this program. So let's talk through the process of that and what it looks like behind the curtain again for you on your side day to day on how you communicate with these customers who want to sell their unit.
Yeah, so the inquiries come in, like you said, in all different fashions. All the regional procurement managers have great relationships with all of their dealerships so that all of those leads come flowing. As soon as somebody walks into the dealership, we'll get an email or a call minutes later about that customer. So once we get that email or that call or text about the information, we will reach out to you and we'll kind of go over just the process, how it works, walk you through it, because it is a little bit different than a lot of other consignment processes that you may hear of. So we'll go through all the differences, all the benefits of our program, and then if you are wanting to move forward and get an offer, we would go over some questions about the condition and the history of your unit and also send some pictures over so we have the full picture of what shape your unit's in and also all of the upgrades, all the things you did to it to make it unique and special. And then once we have that information, we have our market VPs that we work with to get you the best possible offer that will work within whatever market we're in. So I'll send over all of that information that we talked about, the market value and the pictures to my market VPs to get the best possible number for you. And then once I hear back from them, I will reach back out to you. We'll communicate about that number. If you do agree to that, that is when you will bring the RV into the dealership. I'll help you complete some paperwork that legally allows the dealership to sell the unit for you. You'll send over some pictures of documentation that's associated with the RV so that the dealership has everything they need to stock the unit in and make the sale go smoothly. And then you would bring that unit into the dealership where the service team will do a short inspection to make sure everything is the way that you said it was. It's all in selling condition, and they'll work with you on things. If you have little things that you know are a little bit off, or it might sell a little bit better if this is repaired, the service team will work with you on that. You can bring that to their attention and say, hey, there's a little bit of a scratch right here. Do you think it would be better if I went ahead and repaired that? And they'll say, you know what, this is how much it would cost to fix that. Yeah, we can absolutely do that for you. So they're ready and willing to help you with any of that so that your unit is in the best possible shape it can be on the lot so that customers are interested in it and they want to buy it. And then after that, they will do all that marketing that we've talked about. We have constant walk-in traffic, dedicated sales professionals that are explaining all the features and the benefits to your unique unit to all these customers, and they will go ahead and sell it for you, and then they'll take care of all of the paperwork on their end as well. So, as long as your contracts and your documentation is submitted in the beginning, you don't really have to do anything else besides that. The finance department, the office managers will handle all of that paperwork, the titling, the financing with the new bank for the new customer, and then all you have to do is wait for your check to come in the mail, or if you have a payoff, wait for them to pay off the loan for you so you're free and clear. Super easy.
Wow, that's fantastic. How long does that process take? So from the time you receive the inquiry and you're reaching out to the customer, how long are they having to be on the phone with you to go through these conditional questions and
Not long at all. Honestly, I usually reach out the same day that I get the inquiry. So you'll get a call from me usually the same day. And the questions that I go over with you take a matter of minutes. And we do have a detailed survey that we do want to hit all of those points so that there's no information missing. There's no surprises when you get to the dealership, but we don't want to keep you on the phone all day long. You can text over some pictures to me. I always use my cell phone to talk to everybody. So it's textable. We have emails. So you can send pictures however you'd like, and then I'll go and communicate with my market VP. In total, you're spending maybe 10 to 12 minutes talking to me, and then we can get you that great offer. We can have it done for you in as little or as long of a time as you need. If you need to get this unit in within the next 3 days, we'll make it happen. If you want it done within the same day, totally fine. We can do a same day drop off if you need. I'll let the dealership know that you're coming so that there's no surprise of who you're talking to. I'll tell you the person you need to talk to. So it can be done as fast as possible. And if you do have something, if you need a week so that you can clean it out and everything, that's totally fine as well. We're not going to rush you and push you into it.
so the amount of time it takes a customer to do all this, I mean, it could take days, months, a long time to go through that process, and you're compressing it into a short amount of time. Really, you're a procurement liaison for this customer that is taking the heavy load off, and you're making everything very transparent, and you're communicating with the dealership to ensure them a really good experience, right? Because that's the Blue Compass way. We want the customer to have the best experience possible. Again, my name is Chris Fuller, Vice President of Used Operations for Blue Compass. Thank you for joining us today for a behind the scenes look of our consignment program.
And I'm Kylie McCoy, a regional procurement manager for Blue Compass RV. And if you have any questions or you wanted to inquire about consignment, you can visit us at bluecompassrv.com or call your local dealership and they would be happy to point you in the right direction.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click below and make sure you subscribe to get more information on this program, plus other things that are coming down the road from Blue Compass.